1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 wins in a row. Diamond 1 rank up. Let's go. Why is this deck good? It has incredible turn ones, can deck out your opponents, and you can make your monsters huge. This is the deck list that I'll be going in depth, in detail at the end of the video on goals and combos and what you should do. To celebrate this 15 win streak, we're going to be doing a $100 giveaway. Like, subscribe, comment on the video, and to double up on the $100 giveaway, I'm going to post a link to my deck list in the top comment. All you have to do is comment on the deck. Now let's get to the duels. All right, for turn 1, generally, we're going to want to focus on making Chaos Ruler to mill 5, or you want to get into the graveyard, your Agito or your Kelbeck. Let's do this. We're going to start off with the Ogre, which will grab the Punk Xiamen, which is one of the best ways to make our Chaos Ruler. We're going to Allure of Darkness, draw 2, banish Thunder Dragon Dark, which will activate to give us our Thunder Dragon Hawk. Hawk's going to be able to reborn the dark, then we're going to make Colossus, then they cannot add cards in the deck to the hand. We have Punk Xiamen grabbing Foxy Toon, which is a great way to get your millers in the graveyard. It's going to summon a Deer Note, triggering the Kelbeck to mill 5 from both players. Now, Agito is going to be triggered off your opponent milling a card to summon a monster from your own graveyard, and I'm going to make Abyss Dweller. This is super extra. You're generally not going to be able to do this. Now, if I further mill my opponent, they're not going to be able to activate any card effects in their graveyard. If they have Snow, if they have Kelbeck or Agito themselves or Mudora, no activation. Now we're going to make our Chaos Ruler, and we're going to chain link 2 Deer Note to summon a level 8 monster alongside our Chaos Ruler. This is going to be the top 5 cards of our deck. Light or dark monster among those 5. One of them will be added to the hand. Otherwise, just mill the entire top 5. Look at that Necro face. I'm going to completely mill all of it and then make Zombie Vampire, which will mill 4 cards off the opponent's deck and ours, and their cards, again, will not be activating because of Abyss Dweller. I'm going to steal their level 4 tuner. We're going to banish from the graveyard a Shinobi Necro, which will be triggered off of the Chaos Ruler, banishing it for its card effect to summon itself onto the field to make a level 10 Synchro. We're going to make a Baron de Floor, and I do like to make it in this position, on the far left or the far right. Now we're going to make Cross Sheep, and Cross Sheep is going to combo up with the Thunder Dragon Hawk. But first, we're going to be summoning our Fairy Tale Snow, banishing Necroface, and our Thunder Dragon Roar to summon another Roar from the deck onto the field to be used with the level 4 tuner we have. Also, both players are going to be banishing 5, banishing another Necroface to banish another 5, and now we're going to make Chang Ying. And the positioning of the Chang Ying there is also very important. We're going to use the Thunder Dragon Hawk to summon the Thunder Dragon Roar. Now we're going to make Colossus. They cannot add cards. Also, it's indestructible. That's going to trigger the Cross Sheep to boost up the entire field and summon a monster from the graveyard, plus 700 perma boost. Now we're going to summon the Sprite Elf on the far left, which is very important for the positioning here. We're going to banish from the graveyard to summon Fairy Tale Snow, and now we're going to make Masquerena. Had we made the Sprite Elf on the right side, we would not be able to make the Masquerena. Otherwise, we'd have to use the Baron de Floor or the Thunder Dragon Colossus. Now, look at this amazing field. Colossus says they cannot add. The Masquerade is going to be able to link off, and the Sprite Elf is making them untargetable. We also have a Herald of Orange Light for a monster negate. If anything gets banished, we're going to banish a card in the field and in the graveyard. We have Omni Negate with the Baron de Floor. We also have Fairy Tale Snow in the graveyard to summon and flip a monster face down. And we also have, actually, we don't have any shufflers, but if we discard the Keldo, we're going to then be able to shuffle any card from their graveyard or our graveyard back in the deck. Now, really, what could they do? What could they do? They're going to summon, I'm going to Fairy Tale Snow. They're going to scoop it up. You could then go into Unicorn, spin it back, then Fairy Tale Snow back on the field. You could also use Sprite Elf to summon Diviner, then send Entis, then pop a card in the field. Let's do it. Now, what does this deck do going second? We're going to speed through the entire turn 1, but first I do want to state that my priorities going second are generally going to be thinking about making the Zero Boros to get huge with all the banished cards that attack for game. Also, we have Chang Ying, which reduces their monsters per card banish and also boosts itself up. Let's skip to the end field, then do our turn 2 play. Now, what did they accomplish turn 1? They have a Ricochet in the back row, which could steal one of our monsters. They have a Rika Con, which could tribute one of our monsters to activate one of their effects. They have a Teardrop, which could also tribute a monster we control. They have the Bangla Lancer, which could spin a monster I control back to my hand. They also have a monster negate in the graveyard with the Princess, or at least it's not in the graveyard yet. It's on the field, which it can not activate on the field. Let's go. Focus, focus. We just want to break the fields, or there's possibly another win condition. We are going to Foolish Burial, send Agido or Kelbeck. Agido is going to be milling 5. Ooh, we have Shinobi Necro in the graveyard. That's good. We're going to Lure Darkness, banish a Necroface. Hopefully we trigger a Thunder Dragon here. Banishing 5 from both players, and that's going to trigger our Thunder Dragon Roar, summoning a Dark from the deck. Now we're going to banish a Light and Dark to summon the Chaos Creator, targeting 3 different monsters that are banished, summoning one of them, putting the rest back in the deck, recycling our Necroface. On summon, Diviner's going to send Kelbeck, the other miller. Both players mill 5. Now Ava, being sent to the graveyard, is going to banish a Fairy on the field or in the graveyard to add a Fairy from the deck to the hand. Now we have a monster negate. We have not used up our normal summon, as the Ogre Dance is being discarded to add a Deer Note. Deer Note's going to be able to special summon Xiamen or itself onto the field. Now we're going to make a Nightmare Phoenix to pop the field spell or the back row, wipe out that field spell, chain link block of the dark so a princess cannot negate the Phoenix. Rip the field spell, no more will you be able to be tributing our monsters. And that's also going to be triggering the effect of the Hawk to come to our hand. That is the effect of the Dark to grab the Hawk. Xiamen's going to be using up our normal summon. Now we're going to activate the Deer Note, sending the Foxy Tune to special summon itself onto the field to make our prioritized Chaos Ruler. Chaos Ruler on summon is going to mill 5 and also chain link block its effect again from being negated by a princess in the hand or in the graveyard to summon a level 8 from the graveyard, mill 5, adding a Light or Dark among those 5. Let's speed on through these reveals. Double Necroface in the graveyard. Ooh, Shinobi Necro, very nice, which we shuffled back in the deck, by the way. We have the Zombie Vampire is here, top 4 cards of each player's deck. That's going to be a negate. Rip that, so that's now going to make it more difficult if we want to deck them out, but we're going to use the Herald of Orange Light to negate the negate. Still going to tribute me, mate. Goodbye to my Phoenix, I guess. I didn't really need it. That's fine. So rip Phoenix, and now we're going to mill 4 from both players and then summon one of the milled cards onto our side of the field. I'm going to grab my own Diviner, summon it onto the field. That's just going to be triggered to get a boost in. Not any disruption there whatsoever. Chaos Ruler going to banish the Shinobi Necro to summon itself onto the field and the Shinobi Necro for a level 10 Synchro. We're going to make Baron de Flor, Omni Negate plus pop any card on the field, mate. He's going to Ricochet, attempt to steal my Baron de Flor. We're going to negate so I can activate to pop, but then he's going to spin our Baron de Flor back to our hand. Now he's going to take 3,000 damage. There is about 20 cards banished right now, so a Chang Ying or a Zeroboros could win this. He's going to get boost in. Thunder Dragon Hawk's going to summon a monster that is Banisher in the graveyard. Now, Thunder Dragon Roar in the field, we do not want to summon Colossus yet. I want to be setting up for a Cross Sheep. I'm going to banish from the graveyard our double Necroface. That's going to banish 10 cards off of both players' decks. No card destruction, no max C, and now he's got 0 cards in his deck, and I'm going to keep on cooking. We have 30 cards banished, 48 total banished. We're going to get Cross Sheep, and let's hopefully he does not surrender soon. Now we're going to summon our Colossus, triggering our Cross Sheep to summon any monster in the graveyard that's going to be double Fairy Tail Snow, flip down their Fool, and now we're going to make a Sprite Elf to summon a level 2 tuner from the graveyard, then Fairy Tail Snow again to make our level 10 Chang Ying. Let's go. Come forth and summon. How big is this Chang Ying? Let's see if we can pause it real quick. Okay, ready? Boost! 8,500 attack, reduced to 0, 0 cards in your deck. We're going to activate the untargetable Chang Ying to banish a card on the field and in the graveyard. You can't add cards from your deck to your hand, but you have no deck to add from anyway. We're going to use the Medora to trigger the Chang Ying by returning 2 cards on our graveyard back in our deck. Activate to get banishing. Goodbye to the back row. Non-targeting. Goodbye to the grave. Fairy Tail Snow and the Mad Lad Scoops. Now let me show you what it looks like to deck someone out on the very first turn with this deck. We're going to open up with Allure Darkness, banishing Thunder Dragon Dark. Now Dark's going to grab us Hawk into Dark's going to summon the Colossus, but we're going to wait on that. We're going to discard Ogre Dance, grabbing our Punk Xiamen. Xiamen's going to pay 600, grabbing the Foxy Tune. Foxy Tune going to get our Shizu Shuffler into the graveyard to summon our Deer Note, making our Chaos Ruler. Triggering the Deer Note to summon the Ogre Dance, which is my preferred one over the Foxy Tune. Top 5 cards of the deck, that is Shinobi Necro, very good to get in the graveyard. We are going to now be milling with both of our millers. We are going to be milling a total of 10 cards as we Chaos Space grab the Chaos Creator. Now it's time for Zombie Vampire. Detach, mill 8 cards. We're going to reborn our Mudora Chaos Ruler, banishing the Shinobi Necro, which will trigger its effect to summon as a level 2. That is our first level 10 Synchro. And notice how they did not max C, but we're still going to deck them out. There are 21 cards. We're going to be summoning our Chaos Creator by banishing a Light and Dark, triggering the Necroface, and then using the Chaos Creator to put Necroface back into the deck. We're going to be summoning the Shinobi Necro so that we could use it with the Chaos Creator to make our second level 10 Synchro. Now it's time to Hawk into Dark, Shokan into Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep with the Thunder Dragon Dark is going to make the Colossus to trigger the effect to not only summon from the graveyard, but boost the entire field by plus 700. Now we're going to card Destruction, grabbing ourselves a Foolish Burial, Foolish into Snow. Now it's time to banish our other Necrofaces. Necroface number 1, banish. Necroface number 2, banish. We're also going to trigger the Valkyria to make it an increased chance. And then Necroface number 3, even though I say number 3, that's 3 in a row. That was 4 Necrofaces plus mill 10 and a card Destruction. 0 cards in the deck. Now, I didn't want to BM the opponent. What you should do from here is then make a Sprite Elf reborn from the graveyard, and then you would want to, if you have the room, if you don't put the Changing here, which you should put in the middle, you could then make a Masquerena. Otherwise, we could be making a Abyss Dweller play here, which would be very good. And just like that, he's gonna show off the Impermanence, which wouldn't be activatable if we had a Sprite Elf there. Deck out victory. Now, it's worth reminding we have Left Arm offering this deck at 3, so instead of using it to grab a Grass That's Greener, you could instead be grabbing Card Destruction to deck out your opponent. Are you ready for the Max C Challenge? I accept. We're going to mill our entire deck, activating Agido and Kelbeck, mill 10 cards from both players' decks. We're going to trigger the Ava to banish 2 to grab a Herald of Orange Light and a Diviner. We now have a Monster Negate for any hand trap mate. Ogre is going to be discarded to grab a Xiamen from the deck. We're going to normal summon Xiamen, pay 600, activate to grab from our deck a Foxy Tune. Now, honestly, I don't know why I just returned these back to the deck. I think this is an early replay, but that's okay. We got Foxy Tune discarding itself and a Grass That's Greener to summon the Deer Note. We're going to make Chaos Ruler, which will be the top 5 cards of the deck. Light or Dark among those 5 will be added to the hand. We're also going to be triggering the Deer Note, Chainlink Block, and the Chaos Ruler to summon a level 8 onto the field to make our Zombie Vampire. Now we have access to Fairy Tale Snow, which is what I love to see. We're going to make them together to make the Zombie Vampire. Top 4 cards of each player's deck. We're going to summon a monster among those 8 cards total onto our field. Kelbeck comes. We're going to banish from the graveyard our Chaos Ruler, triggering the Thunder Dragon Dark to grab a Thunder Dragon Hawk. Hawk's going to summon the Roar from the graveyard, which we did not activate yet. Now we're going to make Cross Sheep before we summon our Colossus. Now they can't add cards from the deck to the hand. Also, the Colossus is indestructible. Cross Sheep activating to summon from the graveyard as the Roar summons a Dark from the deck. We're going to summon the Necro with the effect of the Cross Sheep, then make a Baron de Floor with our Chaos Ruler. Now we have an Omni Negate on top of a Monster Negate. We're going to use our Gold Sark to banish a Necroface, banishing 5 cards off of both players' decks, triggering the Valkyria just to thin out our deck by sending an Ava from the deck to the graveyard that already activated. We're going to banish from the graveyard to summon a Fairy Tale Snow, triggering double Necroface and our Shinobi Necro to summon onto the field. Now they have 0 cards in their deck. We're just going to summon, and he's forced to draw with Max C. Thus, he does not surrender. He decks out. All right, we're going to test out our deck against the best deck Sprite. We're going to have our Max C negated, then we're going to skip to the end of their turn 1. Let's do it. Well, what do we have here? We have a Masquerena, Link Off, Monster Negate, Spell and Trap card negate, and I think that back row might be a Smashers. Let's play right on through it. Not sure what he's going to negate, whether I should have baited with the Allure of Darkness or the Chaos Space first. We're going to discard our Thunder Dragon Roar, and then the Sprite Elf is going to Reborn Blue as he negates our space. So now I gotta hold on to the Ogre Dance, and we don't have the Roar in the hand, because I was really thinking long and hard, should I discard Ogre Dance for a Xiamen? Then I'm not gonna have a Dark, so we're going to hopefully draw into something good with the Allure of Darkness, which we generally do, because we are mad lads. Ripping into a Grass and a Dark, the best possible draw ever. The Dark is gonna be activating to then add a Hawk from the deck to the hand. The Sprite Red is going to negate. With the Spell and Trap card negate, Monster Negate out of the way, now we could follow up with Grass. I still want to fish out a potential Ash. It is not a Smasher, so that's not going to be disrupting us there. And we're going into Masquerena already. What are we doing? I think this is going to be an Apollo USA. Just 2? No, Avramax. This is going to be untargetable, indestructible, and the main way we're going to out this is very easily. We could just summon a Baron de Fleur and negate its effect to gain attack when we attack over it. Easy peasy. Now we're going to grab the Sprite Smashers for next turn, but believe me, there's not going to be a next turn. We got Z Almond adding the Foxy Tune. Foxy Tune, discard the Snow. Now we're going to Grassland Screener, mill our entire deck. Did we even need it? Because I did have a Chaos Ruler play without it, just saying. We are going to be banishing to grab an Orange Light and a Diviner. Now we have a Monster Negate, continually milling and banishing. Now it's time for the Chaos Ruler top 5 cards of the deck, which will then trigger the Deer Note to summon a level 8 onto the field for our Zombie Vampire. There is our Thunder Dragon Hawk. With our Thunder Dragon Dark being negated, the Mad Lad scoops it up. I did not need Grassland Screener. You know it, I know it. Let's do it. Now I know what you're thinking. 60 card deck, do you ever brick? Yes, I do. In my 14th win streak, we bricked so bad in the mirror match that is. Let's hop into it. Welcome to the worst hand I've ever seen besides my Max C. Holy moly, setting Necroface and passing, but if they are playing a mill deck, they can mill our own Agido, Mudora, Ashizu cards. We're going to get milling with the Kelbeck and all that good stuff if they help us. And we're going to also have them take the Max C challenge. Do you accept? Let's see what we draw into. We just need to draw into a fairy, and we now have a disruption. Just like that. That one draw. We are one card away from being able to have a play. Very good. Well, actually, we still did not have a play. So you want to very carefully with the Kelbeck. When do you want to activate it? I am going to activate it on the resolution of the Chaos Ruler, milling a card off the top of their deck. So I could spin back their Chaos Ruler to stop them from summoning a Zombie Vampire, which could steal one of my own cards off the top of my deck. Since I know this matchup, we're going to be able to very easily know exactly when to counter. Kelbeck is going to stop the Fool, returning it back, but now we lost our Monster Negate. Hopefully we draw into another fairy, because the Mad Lad is still cooking. He is determined to stop me on my 14th win streak. We're going to Herald the Orange Light. That's right. I know that I should be negating the Shinobi Necro because he wants to make a Baron de Fleur or a Chang Ying. That's a level 10 Synchro. I am not allowing it to be summoned, even though we would draw 2 off of him being able to make it. Nope. Forget it. I need to survive. My main goal is survive, then we win. He gives up. He stops cooking. He gains life points off of Destroy My Monster by battle. And now it is our time. Our time to shine. He's going to activate Mudora before passing the turn, spin some of our cards back in the deck. I'm going to return the favor, targeting my own cards. Any of these cards I want to draw into, that'd be nice. Return, return, return. And now it is over. Are you ready? I think he lets me cook the whole way. We are going to Ogre Dance into Z Almond. Is he going to respect me by allowing me to go to the end? Possibly, because we have full wombo combo. Thank you, ma'am. Let's go into Chaos Ruler, top 5 cards of my deck. Don't worry, I'm going to mill some of your deck too. Shokan, the Ogre Dancer from the graveyard back onto the field, top 5. And I'm going to add a light or dark among those 5, grabbing my Thunder Dragon Hawk. Thank you very much. It's now time for Zombie Vampire. Let's see if they have any spicy cards off the top 4 of their deck. They do. I'm going to steal Mudora before I could activate to shuffle my Chaos Ruler in the graveyard back into my deck. Now that's going to trigger the Necroface by summoning the Chaos Ruler back. And we're just going to send a card off the top of our deck. Any card from our deck, it does not matter. Just thin it out. And we're going to keep on back-to-back. Necroface, 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 Banish, Banish, Banish. He's playing the Giant Rex version. Very interesting. Down to 24 cards already. How many cards are banished? 22 cards banished for them, 18 for us. I'm choking off this craziness. Now we're going to get cross-sheeping. And he's scooping. He would not let me make 0 Boros. Why not, man? Come on. Let's get cooking up. We did not open up our Grassland Screener. What the hell? Imperm on my Z Almond. Surely I'll just draw into it. We did not. Roar, Banish, activate, summon a Thunder Dragon from the deck onto the field. Now we got Dark. We're going to use the Lure of Darkness again, banishing the other Thunder Dragon Dark. Now we got card destruction. It's time for Chaos Ruler and Dark. Dark's going to be adding a Roar since we already have our Hawk. Now this is where I was playing some other different cards here. I think this is one of my first duels with the decks. There might be some crazy misplays here. I'll try to point them out. Ava being milled is going to give us fuel for our Orange Light for a monster negate if they have any potential hand trap. Then we're going to normal summon that monster, so we no longer have the monster negate. We're going to Chaos Space Mate, discard the Roar, grab the Valkyria to banish a card from the graveyard for another body on the field. Hawk's going to summon our Roar from the graveyard or banish onto the field as we banish a light to summon the Valkyria. Now it's time for the Fairy Tail Snow, banishing 7 just to get a body on the field. Now with that body and the Chaos Ruler, we're going to make our Cross Sheep to then Shokan into the Colossus. Now they cannot add cards in the deck to the hand. We're going to use the Cross Sheep to summon a Punk Xiamen from the graveyard onto the field, activating to pay to grab a Foxy Toon. Foxy Toon's going to be discarding the card Destruction to summon from the deck since I like my hand to now make a Sprite Elf. That will trigger the Deer Note even though it wasn't synchro summoned with. Now we're going to summon a level 2 monster from the graveyard, Shokan with those 2 into Chang Ying. There's a lot of different ways to make these plays. Banishing with the Chaos Ruler with no Shinobi Necro so we don't get that extra level 2. Come forth, we got full body on the field, Shokan into Masquerena. Boy, is this looking good. Chaos Space returning the ruler. Wow. Now we got the grass. Now, get ready to cook against Branded Despia. They're going to scoop really easy. I'm just going to BM the Maxi on any special summon. Hopefully, I will be drawing into a fairy for an additional negate. He's going to be chaining Branded Opening to special summon. Can't add because the Colossus makes it illegal. Colossus also untargetable here. Can't add with the Alubur. That is illegal. It's time to come forth and summon Fairy Tail Snow. This will trigger the Chang Ying to banish, and the Fairy Tail Snow will flip down. We're not allowing any plays whatsoever. I do not think so. I can also Masquerena, just discard the grass, go into Unicorn, get spin in, and that also gets my Fairy Tail Snow in the graveyard. We're going to activate the Hawk just to be cheeky to return the grass, maybe for a fairy. Yup, we got a fairy. Now we got a monster negate. How much better could this get? Oh my Jesus. Necroface banishing 5 cards off of both players' decks. Branded Retribution to grab Branded Banishment. I don't think so. We're going to activate Keldo, spinning that trap back in the deck among many other cards. This is absolute insanity. This deck feels like crazy tier 0 if it doesn't brick. We're going to Foolish Burial. I do not think so. We're going to Chain Masquerade. I think this is when I was playing Apollo USA and I was planning on going into that. Otherwise, you could be going into Nightmare Unicorn. I am expecting a scoop, and he scoops it up. Yes, I hope that was enough gameplay for you. We're now going to be hopping into the deck list. I wanted to show you my rank up victory, but I did not know that replays disappear in the match history after 24 freaking hours. I could only save 10 of these 15 games to my replay folder. Konami, what the hell? Now, if you pay attention to the goals and priorities of this deck list that I'm going to be outlining, this is going to be a common turn 1 field that you can make. Now, before I do that, I want to show you the full power of this turn 1 field and exactly how you should use it. Let's say your opponent activates a Runic Tip to search, but they can't because you have a Colossus, so instead they're going to summon a Hugin. Hugin cannot activate to search because you have a Colossus, but you're going to now respond with your Snow from the graveyard to flip it face down. They're going to then follow up with a Beaver. Beaver activate. We're not going to waste our Baron to floor negate. It's going to summon a second Beaver onto the field. We're going to use our Masquerena and Fairy Tail Snow to combine to make a Unicorn. Unicorn's going to spin one of the Beavers back in the deck. We could then activate the Sprite Elf to summon a Diviner from our graveyard, activating Diviner to send an Entis from our extra deck to the grave to destroy the other Beaver on the field. Okay, they then follow up with a Sprite Starter. Starter's going to activate to summon a Sprite Blue from the deck. You could then use your Fairy Tail Snow again, banishing the Diviner and or the Unicorn off the field and the other cards from your graveyard to summon the Fairy Tail Snow, again flipping another monster on the field face down. Now let's say this Mad Lad has a monster reborn. Well, any monster they target, you're going to be able to use your Keldo to shuffle that monster back in the deck, completely nullifying it. But let's say for some reason you don't do that and they have another way to get a monster on the field. So with the Beaver on the field again, you could activate Keldo just to banish it, target any card from either player's graveyard back in the deck. By banishing it, that's going to trigger your Chang Ying to banish the Beaver off the field. And on top of all of that disruption, we have a Baron de Floor still able to negate anything. And for the Herald of Orange Light, this is actually searchable if you mill your Ava. Priority number 1 with this deck is to mill 5 with Kelbeck, Agido, or your Chaos Ruler. We have cards like Foolish Burial to mill your Agido or Kelbeck. We also have Foxy Toon, which you could discard it from the hand. You could also search for your Foxy Toon to discard them from the hand with your Xiamen. Xiamen and the Foxy Toon are going to be a way to make your Chaos Ruler. And I should interrupt this to say that our actual priority 0 is to just draw Grass's Greener. Draw it, draw it. Well, you actually want to also resolve it. it. So if you're playing against an Ash Blossom, you want to eat their Ash with another card. Activate anything. Ogre, Search, Foolish Burial, potentially activate first to see if they have the Ash. If they use Ash on something else, then you follow up with the grass that looks greener. And if you did not open up this card, you could use your left arm offering to search for your grass, or even use the left arm offering to instead search for a card destruction. Another good way to trigger the Kelbeck and Agito is going to be your Diviner. You could special summon this off of your Cross Sheep. You could also normal summon it. You can also summon it off of your Zombie Vampire. This will be turning into a level 6 tuner to then use with a level 4 monster like Fairy Tale Snow to make a level 10 synchro. Early on, there's two main ways to get your Punk Zeoman on the field without using up your normal summon. You can use your Foxy Tune to special summon a Zeoman from the deck onto the field, and then if you have another Punk in your hand, you could search for Deer Note. With the Zeoman, Deer Note could then special summon itself onto the field. Another play, you could use Deer Note to special summon a Zeoman from your hand onto the field, which will get your Deer Note in the graveyard, but you could use your Mudora or your Keldo, shuffling your Deer Note back in the deck so that the Zeoman could search for a Foxy Tune to then special summon your Deer Note, and you did not even have to use up your normal summon. After making your Chaos Ruler with the Deer Note, the Deer Note's going to activate. I would say priority to summon Ogre Dance, then Foxy Tune onto the field so you could put your Chaos Ruler and your Ogre together to make a Zombie Vampire. This is going to mill 4 cards off of both players' decks, and what's really good about this is if your opponent mills a Mudora or a Keldo or even a Fairy Tale Snow or any monster that activates in the graveyard, you could use the Zombie Vampire to reborn it onto your side of the field before they trigger, before they could activate their effect. Now, after all of that milling, what did we accomplish? We accomplished, hopefully, ideally, to have a Fairy Tale Snow in the graveyard that we can continually summon onto the field by banishing our cards from our field, hand, or graveyard, and also it has the ability to flip an opponent's monster face down. I would say your next highest priority is planning out your Thunder Dragon Colossus. In order to do this, the main way to do so is going to be activating your Thunder Dragon Hawk from your hand, special summoning your Dark or your Roar onto the field to then send it to the graveyard to make your Colossus, because this card needs to know that you activated a Thunder monster from the hand, and then you need a Thunder monster on the field. Good ways to do so would be activating Thunder Dragon Roar from the hand to add a milled or banished Thunder Dragon Hawk back to your hand, or if you banish a Roar with a card like Allura Darkness, that will special summon a Dark onto the field from the deck, and then you could send the Thunder Dragon Dark to the graveyard for any of your Link monsters, or you could even make a Chaos Ruler with it with your Zeoman, which it will then activate to grab a Hawk from the deck to the hand. Now, if your Hawk is banished in the graveyard and you're going for the Roar play of summoning the Dark, you're going to want to use your Mudora or Keldo to shuffle your Hawk in the graveyard back in your deck. Another simple play is just Allura Darkness or Goldsark, banishing your Dark, then activating to grab the Hawk, and now you have your Thunder Dragon Colossus. But with the Thunder Dragon Colossus, you want to combo it up with your Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep needs to be pointing to Colossus when Colossus is either special summoned or another monster is special summoned to where Cross Sheep is pointing to while pointing to the Colossus. That will trigger the Cross Sheep to special summon a monster from the grave. With that Cross Sheep special summon, it could be good to get a level 2 tuner on the field to help make your level 10 synchro. You could also, with Diviner, if you have not activated it yet, to mill from the deck to the graveyard. You could also summon a Zeoman if you were not able to make the Chaos Ruler play. There's a lot of versatility with the Cross Sheep, but with the Cross Sheep being a Link 2, you then want to make your Sprite Elf. Elf is going to be able to reborn a level 2 monster from the graveyard, which could be that level 2 tuner again. Then the Sprite Elf during the opponent's turn is going to be able to reborn your Diviner, and Diviner is going to be able to activate on the opponent's turn, sending an Elder Entity Entis to pop a back row or monster on the field. The Elf will also make both monsters it's pointing to completely untargetable. Now, if you're going second, you may want to skip the Sprite Elf play since it cannot be used for a Link material the turn it's summoned, and instead, with the Cross Sheep, you could use it to help make a Zero Boros. With all the cards we're banishing off of your opponent's deck and our own deck with the effect of the Necroface randomly being banished, it's going to be super boosted, and if they have any monster in attack position, you're going to attack for game. If not Zero Boros, you could make the Chang Ying instead, also getting boosted by 100 per card that's banished, and also reducing your opponent's monster. If you're struggling to get things started, try to make a Rank 4 Exceed Dugaris. Dugaris could reborn a monster from the graveyard, or I would say even better, draw 2, discard 1 card. Another play could be making the Blocker. Blocker on summon, you can activate it to discard a Kelbeck or a Agito, and there have been some duels where I really much needed this. Or if you're going second, you're going to have the Phoenix, which could discard a Kelbeck or a Agito to get poppin'. Also discarding a Fairy Tale Snow from the hand is very important. You could then go up into a Unicorn for further discarding and disrupting your opponent's field. It's worth noting that Kelbeck and Agito have great hand effects. If a card is sent from your opponent's hand or deck to the graveyard, thus they activated a hand trap or you milled their deck for them, you're going to be able to activate a Geedo special summoning itself from the hand, and also you could special summon a level 4 fairy from your graveyard onto the field for easy rank 4 exceeding or linking. This could be a good time to make an Abyss Dweller for the mirror match, or when you're about to mill their deck, make your Abyss Dweller so none of their cards activate. What I would say is even better is Kelbeck for disruption. If your opponent mills with, let's say, a Chaos Ruler, you could then activate the Kelbeck, spinning their Chaos Ruler on the field back in their extra, so it's not going to be resummoned from the grave, and that's going to stop them from summoning a zombie vampire. It's also worth noting you could special summon Mudora or Keldo from the hand by discarding one other Earth Fairy. Mudora is just going to be a special summon. We're not playing the Grave Creeper's Trap. I think in one replay you saw it. You could add it in the deck if you want. Otherwise, the Keldo is going to be the better card to summon from your hand, because when it special summons, you could activate to add a card like Kelbeck or a Geedo from your deck to your hand. Now you have Ava. Ava, if discarded or sent to the graveyard, is going to be activating to banish 2 other light fairies, up to 2, to search your deck for a Herald the Orange Light or a Diviner. Now, if you have all 3 Herald the Orange Lights in the graveyard, what you're going to want to do before triggering your Ava, you're going to want to activate Keldo or Mudora, shuffling one of them back in the deck. Even if you have a third Diviner in the graveyard, you're going to want to shuffle that back in also. Then make sure you have enough fairies to banish with the Ava to then add to your hand from the deck a Herald the Orange Light and or a Diviner, and now you have a monster negate. The Chaos Space is an incredible card. It is a +1 draw. When it's milled, you're going to return your Chaos Ruler, your Chaos Creator, or your Valkyria that's banished back in the deck to draw 1. Otherwise, if you open up with it, and I may switch back to plan 3 of this, I don't know, you could discard a light or dark to search your deck for the Chaos Creator if you discard a light. And this card's going to be nuts. You banish a light and dark from the graveyard, then you can target 3 cards that are banished with different names, summon one of them onto the field, then shuffle the rest back in your deck. This is a great way to recycle your Necroface. Otherwise, you discard a dark monster, you could then search Chaos Valkyria, which is a free special summon, by banishing a light or dark from the grave. The Shinobi Necro is amazing in this deck because if banished from the graveyard to activate an effect or for an effect, it's going to activate to special summon onto the field, but make sure you do not banish it with a card like Chaos Creator, otherwise it will not trigger. The Shinobi Necro is going to be usually comboed up with the Chaos Ruler to make a level 10 Synchro, Baron de Floor, or Chang Ying. Now to finish this up, I'm going to show you some other ways to play the deck. I'm going to click on the Ishizu filter on the top decks page. I'm going to click on Ishizu Chaos to show you these 4 decks. Also, we originally had the deck being listed under Thunder Dragon. I will be moving these decks on over to Ishizu Chaos. But before I do that, from the Discord, discord.gg/masterduelmeta, I'm going to show you the future of this deck. This is when tier limits come out, and this might, I'm not predicting it right now, but this might be the best way to play tier limit when it comes out. If they pre-hit the crap out of tier limit, this may be the only way to play that deck. Starting off with the other variations, this got first place of the Bullet Cup Elite Tournament. Is there any differences from my deck in his? He's got a Destrudo, that's a good card to summon from the hand or the graveyard. He's got the Black Dragon and the Wyver Burster. Those are good cards I definitely want to play with. Triple Chaos Space, that's looking good. Also playing Chaos Levineer, which is going to be able to be good for breaking fields. Also returning a card in their hand back in the deck, and or summoning a monster from your graveyard by banishing 3 lights. The Shooting Riser Dragon's also going to be good for sending a Fairy Tale Snow from the deck to the grave. As I see, he's only playing 2. We then have another Ishizu Chaos build idea with Cyberstein. I'm loving this idea. That is great. Reborn it with your Sprite Elf after milling it, and then you're going to have Infinite Negate with the Exterio. That's going to clap up Runic. Another thing worth mentioning is if you normal summon Necroface against a Runic deck that banished all of your deck, you return all of your banished cards back in the deck. What's also really spicy here is the Nemesis Flag, which is going to be able to search for your Protoss. This is a quick look at the extra deck alongside the main deck. Now let's switch on over to this deck. Wow, a lot of the Nemesis cards. We have Giant Rex here. We have the Shang-Chi, which could summon from the graveyard. We also have the Mazera, which helps you make level 10 Synchros, and the Zombie Vampire. There's so many great ideas going into this deck. Now we have what he's saying, all gas, no brakes, playing Dangers in this build alongside some Light Sworns, double Chaos Levineer, triple Charge Light Brigade, mill 3, add a Light Sworn. Looking very spicy. Now we have top 4 of a tournament. We have using the Doomsday Horror. If destroyed, return all banished monsters into the graveyard, which is going to be recycling your Necroface. You have Nanyan also recycling your Necroface. What else is good here? We got the Mazera, the Chang-Chi. There's a lot more ideas I want to be exploring with this deck. Got Left Arm Offering, Chaos Space looking good. We got Lightsworn for milling. We got Bujinki, which could recycle your Necroface. Necroface. 2 more decks. We have a Diamond 1 deck here, looking relatively standard. I'm liking it. Very nice. Got triple evenly matched, playing the Gravekeeper's Trap. Take a look at the extra deck, has another rank 8 Exceed. And then the final deck list. You know, make sure to check out these decks on MasterDoMeta.com. A lot of them put some good work into the notes and combos, and they also have replays attached to their player ID that you should definitely check out if you want to play this deck. Here's the extra. Now on to the main deck real quick. We got Destrudo, we got Chaos Emperor, which can add a Banished Dragon back to the hand. If you enjoyed this video, I would very much appreciate it if I would see you on Twitch, twitch.tv/DK live on stream. Don't be shy, say hello to me on stream. I get the notification for first-time chatters. I see you. We're gonna have a $2,000 tournament qualifier plus April pack leaks, and I'm really hoping to see a Shizu Chaos in the tournament this weekend. Also, do not forget the $100 giveaway. Like, subscribe, comment to be entered in the giveaway. Also, post a comment on my top link deck list to further enter the $100 giveaway to increase your chances. And that's it with the video. Thank you very much. We are out.